We can all agree that we've seen some unusual things from Liverpool during their last 3 preseason games in the USA, right? It's clear that Arne Slot has been experimenting with various approaches and tactics in each game. We saw the team trying to bait the press, the uncommon 3-4-4 build-up shape we discussed in an earlier video, and even a more direct approach reminiscent of Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool against Manchester United. Now, of course, these are still early days, and besides the team's flexibility in and out of possession, we can't draw any definitive conclusions about how Liverpool will look this season. After all, many key players were still unavailable for selection. However, what stood out in these 3 games is how players' finishing has slightly improved compared to last season. Yes, you heard that right. It might sound like a stretch, and as you know, finishing chances can vary from game to game. But we've spotted some signs that Arne Slot might have already been influencing the players' final strikes. Yes guys, we rewatched every single shot the team took during our last friendly games to bring you this analysis. From getting closer to the goal to discussing Szoboszlai's technique, we've got it all covered. So hit that like and subscribe button and let's jump straight into this. So before we start our analysis, we need to clear something up. Yes, we reviewed every shot Liverpool players took during these last 3 games, however we're not going to show you all of them, otherwise this video would be about 3 hours long, which is a bit too much. Instead, we decided to focus on attempts taken by starting players, so that the chances from KD Gordon against Betis and the wide shot from Ben Doak against United will not feature in today's video. Also, since these were friendly games, we struggled to find any stats measuring the Reds' expected goals value. Therefore, we're going to discuss the ones we feel are big chances based on our eye test. Now that we've cleared that up, let's start up with the first interesting point we captured, so here is out. During these last 3 games, Liverpool took a total of 28 shots, 22 of which were from inside the penalty box. That's 78.5% of the Red shots taken from a closer distance to the opposition's goal. If we go back to Liverpool's final 3 games of last season, under Jurgen Klopp, we'd find that the Reds took 55 shots inside the penalty area out of a total of 75. This gives us a relatively lower percentage of shots taken from close range, at 73.3%. This means the Reds are using their attacking sequences to get as close as possible to the opposition's goal to have a better scoring conditions. After all, it's harder to miss if you're closer to the goal, right? Now, some of you might argue that the number of shots has massively decreased from 75 to 28 in both sets of games. But here's where quality over quantity comes in. In our last 3 Premier League games under Jurgen Klopp, 45.3% of our shots were on target. In comparison, during the last 3 friendlies, 42.8% of our shots were between the posts. You're probably thinking we're contradicting ourselves here, as Liverpool's accuracy seemed better last season. However, we should highlight that those numbers were inflated due to the Wolves game, where we had 14 shots on targets from a whopping 36 total. So the slight difference in percentage actually proves that the Reds are being more accurate with their shots by taking them from closer range. Now, getting players to shoot from closer will surely help create better goal scoring opportunities. However, that alone won't be enough. So let's explore the second thing we spotted during these friendlies. Even if you put a striker as close as possible to the opposition's goal, it will be difficult for him to score if certain conditions are not met. A forward needs to be properly positioned in a dangerous area, have decent body orientation, and receive the ball on his stronger foot to have the best chance of scoring. So let us share with you what we first picked up. 14 minutes into the Betis game, Liverpool gained a high turnover after both Szoboszlai and Quansah put pressure on the Betis defenders. The ball then fell to Mo Salah in the most dangerous position he can receive it, the right half space inside zone 18. Here Salah can take on defenders, unleash his creativity with pinpoint passes to runners inside the box, and either power a shot or curl it into the far post. But to do any of this effectively, he needs to have his body optimally orientated. In this sequence, Salah was facing his own goal as his teammates were counter-pressing. Once the ball fell to him, he was perfectly orientated to choose any of the options we mentioned a minute ago. Salah opted for the curler, which unfortunately went wide. However, as you can see on the screen, receiving it in that dangerous position, in good conditions, offered him multiple options. He had at least 2 more players to combine with or supply the ball to, and also enough space to drive the ball forward. Another instance where players were put in the optimal positions to score was Mo Salah's goal against Arsenal. Yes, it was one of those one-on-one situations with the goalkeeper, but if you look at how the action started, you'd find that Elliott's pass was perfectly placed, allowing Salah to cut inside, shrug off the Arsenal defender using his body, and then finish the chance with the ball on his stronger foot. Now, this wasn't the only instance where the team worked the ball in favourable areas and situations for certain players to take advantage of. In this following sequence, Endo spotted Bradley's run on the right-hand side and played a long ball to him. Meanwhile, both Salah and Carvalho made central runs into the box, pulling Batista's defensive line and creating space for Elliott's late runs. A quick scan from Bradley was enough to spot Harvey Elliott, and he played a cut back towards the edge of the area. Here you can see that the young English midfielder had all the space in the world when he received the ball. Unfortunately, he opted to go for the shot with his weaker foot instead of controlling the ball and making a better decision. Now, although Liverpool failed to score from this cutback situation against Betis, we successfully scored twice from similar plays against Manchester United, who are well known for struggling to defend such balls due to their defensive midfielders' inability to track runners into the box. You can see here that the moment Salah broke out on the right-hand side, Curtis Jones initiated his run onto the box. From there, it was a matter of the Egyptian to play the cross into the box for Jones to meet. And again, the third goal came in a similar fashion. After both Salah and Bradley combined on the right-hand side, the fullback played a cutback towards Diogo Jota, who made the run into the box, setting him up for a clear chance to score. At the same time, you can see Tsimikas crashing into the box on the far side, and that run allowed him to follow up on Diego's saved shot. See, if you get your forwards to shoot from closer range and provide them with good conditions, like receiving comfortably on their stronger foot, then it would be harder for them to miss than score. Of course, we're not saying that this would guarantee scoring every possible chance we get. That would obviously be unrealistic. For example, Elliott played Diogo Jota as close as possible to the goal against Arsenal. However, luck played its role as the Portuguese hit the post. What this will do, however, is help increase the probability of converting these chances. The Arsenal game was a prime example of how the Reds were more efficient in generating shots from their dangerous possession. It took Liverpool just 21 touches to generate 8 shots, with an expected goals of around 1.3. Arsenal, on the other hand, had more than twice as many deep touches, with 45 and only generated 12 shots with a lower XG of 1.1. The Carvalho goal was a prime example of how to set up a forward in the most favourable conditions. Yes, it was a magical pass from Elliott, and yes, it was a bit challenging to connect on the volley for the Portuguese, but that's the trick. It was a matter of connecting for Carvalho because he was so close to the goal with the ball falling to his stronger side, and that's what made the situation a favourable condition to score from. But now we have a more detailed example of how to set up players in the best circumstances to take advantage of their shooting techniques, so bear with us as we explain. There's no doubt about it that Dominik Szoboszlai is one of the best ball strikers in the world currently. His goals with RB Leipzig are just a joy to watch, and we even got a taste as Liverpool fans with his strikes against Aston Villa and Leicester City last season. Szoboszlai's shooting ability is built on his consistent technique of transferring his body's interior into his shots. This means using his entire body's momentum to generate power and accuracy in his kicks. The Hungarian did it consistently, especially during his RB Leipzig days, so you can say that he cracked the code to his perfect shots. This is achieved through a slight bend in his plant leg, followed by a violent extension, ensuring both power and accuracy. But that's not all. Szoboszlai also had a unique chest positioning when shooting, which starts over the ball and ends up almost perpendicular to the ground. This is crucial for controlling the shot's height. This control also allows him to keep the ball low and precise, making it difficult for goalkeepers to reach, especially when aiming for the far post. Moreover, Szoboszlai's ability to generate a knuckling effect by striking through the centre of the ball adds an element of unpredictability to his shots. It makes them harder for goalkeepers to read, increasing the chances of successfully targeting the far post. It's also worth mentioning that the player's physical attributes play a significant role. Szoboszlai's strong ankle tendons and flexible hips contribute to his powerful and controlled strikes, allowing him to land correctly and maintain form even when his shooting leg comes across his body. For more details on this, we've advised to go through John Suduma's article on Medium, in which he investigates ball striking. You guys will love that one. Going back to our point to get the most out of Szoboszlai's shooting, aside from giving him space and time outside of the area, the Hungarian will be lethal when receiving the ball inside the penalty box and within the right half space. His technique will be crucial for targeting the far left post effectively. Now this is where our point comes in. During last season, despite playing as the right-sided midfielder, Szoboszlai had the bulk of his shots coming from the left-hand side or central areas. Naturally shooting from these zones, Szoboszlai was unable to aim for the far post effectively since he would have to use his weaker foot to do so. When it comes to the right half space, Szoboszlai only took 13 shots, and only 4 of those came within the area. This means his ability to target the far post with powerful low-driven shots was not properly utilised. To better explain this, let's take a look at 2 closest shots Szoboszlai took, both of which were supplied by Mohamed Salah, just like the Betis goal we'll examine shortly. The first chance was against Spurs, where Szoboszlai missed the target as he aimed for the near post. Remember how we explained that Szoboszlai's shooting technique involves hunching over the ball to control the shot's height. Here you can see how he's trying to get his chest over the ball, but Salah's pass was slightly overhit, preventing Szoboszlai from optimally positioning his body. His planted foot was also not fully extended, which is not his usual technique when taking a shot as we previously discussed. The second chance was against Aston Villa during the 3-3 draw, and it was a replica of the previous chance we discussed. Again, Salah's pass was misjudged and Szoboszlai found the angle extremely tight, opting to lob the keeper. You can still see his awkward body posture and he wasn't able to use his consistent shooting technique. Now don't get us wrong, we're not saying that Salah's passing was poor, nor are we suggesting that Szoboszlai shares no blame for wasting both chances. After all, he had the option to play the cutback or retain possession. But was he provided with the conditions to allow him to use his optimal shooting technique? That's not the case. This brings us to the goal he scored against Betis. As always, Salah and Szoboszlai combined on the right-hand side, with the Hungarian bombing through the right half space. Here Salah's pass was literally perfect, landing close to Szoboszlai's feet. This allowed him to slightly bend his planted foot and bend his hips to generate a powerful and accurate shot into the far post. Yes guys, these are only friendly games, but the way the team is working to provide attacking players with closer distances to shoot from and more favourable conditions has been a repeated theme during this preseason tour. Arne's slot is known for his attention to detail, and we have no doubt that he is working with each and every player to maximise their abilities, including improving the finishing issues we faced last year. See, squandering one big chance like Jota's attempt against Arsenal isn't bad at all, right? So hopefully this approach of taking shots from closer distance while providing the offensive players with favourable conditions will continue throughout the season. It's better to create 3 chances and score 2 than to create 6 or 7 and end up scoring only 1. So what do you guys think? Have you noticed this approach during these games? Do you think these methods will help the likes of Darwin Núñez improve their finishing? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed today's analysis, do consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel for more Liverpool content. Thank you, I'll see you all next time. Take care, peace.